Howdy, howdy. This is Blue Otter. Today we are playing Parkitect. We're going to start with Loopy Lagoon with the tutorial. Hey there, future Parkitect. This tutorial will teach you the basic skills for running your own theme park. Please select a lesson. So we have camera controls. So basically WASD, also middle mouse, and the arrow keys. Now rotate the view, hold left alt plus middle mouse and move the mouse to the left and right. If you move the mouse up or down, the camera gets tilted. You can also simply use Q and E. If you additionally hold left alt, it will rotate smoothly. So this is Q and E, but if you do left alt, this is more of the default setting, but you can change it in the settings to be smoother. Let's see, left alt with middle mouse, that does the tilting. I believe that's as much as we can tilt it down. Okay, next. Zooming works in and out by using either the page up or down. Also, the zoom button on, or the middle, the wheel on the mouse. That's pretty much it. Building controls. If you want to build a theme park, you really should know how building works. Fortunately, it's not too difficult. The controls are mostly the same, whether you build a shop, a ride, or anything else. But for this example, let's try to build some decoration. Open the deco menu from the bottom menu, pick something you'd like, and place it anywhere in the park using the left mouse button. So we're going to go with a tree. And we're going to do a king palm. We'll plant a king palm right there. As long as the building tool is open, your cursor will look like this. So it kind of looks like a paintbrush, but instead of the bristles, it's a triangle. You can destroy items with a right click. So just like that. If you hold the right click and move your mouse around, it will continue to destroy things, but only objects that belong to the same category as the item you initially clicked on. This is useful for quickly destroying only a bunch of rocks without having to be afraid of destroying anything else. Alternatively, you can use the bulldozer tool from the bottom menu bar. That one is mostly useful for destroying a large amount of things at once, but you will get a full refund for destroyed objects for quite a while after they have been built, so don't be afraid to experiment. We're going to go ahead and put that one back. I tried destroying the deco art, which we've already done. By the way, you might have noticed the text box in the top right corner of the screen, which is right over here. It also lists all relevant controls for that tool, so if you ever forget anything while playing, keep an eye on that area. For example, it'll tell you that you can rotate objects using space. That's really good to know. You can disable these controls hints in the settings if you want. So yeah, so we can just have that, which also gives a good idea of being able to make it look varied, but you have literally the same object. Most things can be raised up or down by holding left shift and moving the mouse up or down. You can also use left control to raise the object to the same height or whatever is below your mouse. Try placing something, for example, a rock. Let's go find a rock above the blue cube. So we're going to hold left shift and we just bring that right up there. Perfect. Finally, here are some quick tips for building deco specifically. You can find the object pipette tool near the top of the deco builder window, which lets you quickly clone any deco object that's already in the park. This can speed up building a lot. Give it a try if you want. So we have this, and we can just do that to, say, maybe pick up this bench, and we can put down a second bench. Many deco objects can be placed freely, but when holding left alt, they will snap to a grid. Left alt. Well, these have to be placed on the path anyway. You can change the grid size by holding left alt and a number on the keypad. You do have to, hold on, let's go back to rocks. So here's the keypad. Now, one thing you do need to note is that to do that, you do need to have the num lock on if you are using your 10 key. Otherwise, the numbers above the keyboard also will work. Your first ride. So let's... Hold on. I gotta put that back. I accidentally do the delete function a little too much. Because all you got to do is like place it over there, right click, and it's gone. And then I'm constantly having to do that with paths. Your first ride. Rides are the most important thing in a theme park, of course. There are very big and intense rides like roller coasters, but also smaller, much less intense rides. Roller coasters attract many new guests to the park, and most people love them. Guests are different though. Some people prefer the less intense rides, and ideally your park should offer something for everyone. Since this park already has many intense rides, let's take a look at how to build a simple calm ride. Let's go with a classic, the carousel. Select the carousel from the rides menu in the bottom menu bar and place it in the highlighted area. You can rotate the ride with space. So come over here, we're going to pick the carousel and we can rotate it, but it doesn't really matter. If it's something that's more than just like this 4x4, then yeah, but we'll go ahead and place that down. Now we need to place the right entrance, which it's going to kind of tell us where we have to place it. And then here is the exit. And then if it will let me rotate, there we go. We could have put the entrance right next to the path, but it's better to give guests some space where they can wait for their turn for the ride. So let's add a queue line. Open the path builder and select queue, which is right here. And then select the queue path and put a queue right down there, right in the center. Now you can also select some different layouts, like some different designs if you want. I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to change out the colors really quickly. There. All right. Hold on. There we go. Finally, the ride needs to be open. Close the path building, then click on the carousel to open its window, which I never really took that off. Now click on the green button on the bottom of the window and guests can start queuing. So we're going to turn that on. And I believe it's automatically going to have someone like right there. So you're not necessarily having to hire someone for it. By the way, in most scenarios, you will start with a very small amount of rides and will have to research new ones. The research menu can be found in the left menu bar. Oh, right down here. There we go. And then we have someone coming in. Finances. Sooner or later, your park will have to take money in or it will have to close. You can either charge guests for using rides or charge a fee at the park entrance simply for entering the park. You can also do both at once, but if you charge for your rides, most people will probably not be willing to pay a very high park entrance fee. And then there's also the shops, which are an important source of income as well. Let's use this coaster over here as an example for how to adjust prices. Simply click on the ride and the input field for the price should be right there. So we're going to click on this and the input field, yeah, right there. But how much can you charge? Generally, the more exciting a ride, the more guests will be willing to pay. But you should listen to your guests' opinions and to really find out. You can find the most recent thoughts of guests had about the ride on the opinions tab. So we come over here. They can't afford. One person said they couldn't afford it. 14 said it was a really good deal. Well, 8 people said it was a really good deal, and 25 said I want to go on the windbreaker. To get the full picture of how well your park is doing, let's take a peek at the finance window in the middle left. In the left menu bar. Right down here. Here you get a full summary of where you are making or losing money and how the values change each month. The most important row is operating, which is the sum of all money you are making and spending simply from running the park. So this does not include sporadic costs like purchases of new rides, for example. As long as this number is positive, you will be fine. In a new park, you won't make much money yet, so that will be a negative number, and you will have to work towards changing this. So yeah, so we're looking at that. If we spend a lot of money to build, it's going to go down, but you know, as long as you can attribute it to building and you're not overbuilding month to month, you should be able to recover from that. They are getting sick over here. In case you do run out of money, you can get loans from the loans tab. Just remember that this is not free money. There will be a monthly fee that you have to pay as long as the loan isn't paid back. So be careful to invest this money right into the rides and excite your guests and bring a bigger audience to your park. So yeah, if you're going to take a loan out, you really want to make sure that you're going to put the money right back in. Why is he staring at me? Or she? That's crazy. All right, let's look over here. Shops. Your guests will get hungry and thirsty eventually, so let's take a look at how to build and operate a food stall. Select a shop from the menu area and place it in the highlighted area. So we come over here. Let's do burgers. Right there. See that symbol above the shop? It means the shop is out of stock. This over here is your park's delivery center where all shop products arrive. A hauler will have to pick up these crates and deliver them to the shops. Right now, your park has no haulers, so open the staff menu window, then select the hauler tab and hire at least one. Place him somewhere on a path, and he will eventually go and deliver those crates. So come over here. We're going to hauler, and we can... We just... we hire one, I think. Hire at least one. We'll hire a second one. Right now, the hauler has to walk quite a long ways to get to the shop. This will take a while. Guests will not be thrilled to see these crates being carried around. Shops can be stocked from the back, so let's build a shortcut for the hauler to finish his work more quickly and without annoying the guests. Open the park builder window and select the employee path type. Guests will not use the employee paths, and the employees will use them whenever possible to fulfill tasks. So we come over here. We're going to use this one, and we just draw a path like so. Shops can be stocked from the back, so let's build... Why does that have a space? That... Okay. I'm not going to worry about it. This is a tutorial. Shops can be stocked from the back, so let's build a shortcut for the open the path. Yeah, build a employee path to the back of the shop. Got it. Well done. Most food creates some trash. We should put up some trash bins next to the park. Next, or this park will turn into a dump. Open the decorations. And place some bins. So we're going to come here, trash bins. And then you could really just pick any kind that you want. Let's pick this one. Trash bins will have to be emptied eventually, so you should get some janitors from the staff menu. Oops, that's not what I did not mean to do that. Can we pick this up? There. I should delete. All right, great. Stocking shops has a cost, and the shopkeepers want to be paid each month as well. So we'll leave it at this. While our park is still small. This should take care of our guest needs for now. And once we make a steady profit and more guests come to the park, we can always expand further. That is still really bothering me. Oh, no, hold on. There. There. Fixed it. All right, behind the scenes. As your park grows, it will become more difficult to supply shops that are far away from the deliveries building, such as the ones over here. You could, for example, build a network of underground employee paths leading here, but transporting all those crates by foot will still be slow. Another option is to use the transport system, which is a fast but expensive way to get the crates to any location in the park. Let's place a depot in the highlighted area. Come over here. We're going to do a depot. Nope. Shift is, or space is rotate. Okay. And then it's going to go straight to our path here. We're just going to build this. To there. And this goes all the way. Connects to there. Oh, add the two shops. So what we do is we come over here, click add, and we just add those two shops. Well done. Your haulers can now pick up the crates for these shops at this depot now, instead of having to walk all the way over to the deliveries building. Now there's just one small problem. Guests enjoy being fully immersed in your park. They don't want to see how it operates behind the scenes. Whenever they get a direct view of park utility buildings, this breaks their immersion. Let's check the decoration visualization view to get a better idea of what doesn't look so nice for your guests. Visualization, decoration. You can see the guests. You can see in green the good-looking parts of the park, and in red the parts the guests don't like. The area around the depot is direct red because guests have a direct view of it. So let's see. So yeah, so over here we've got all this nice green area, and then you got a couple little spots over here that's red. That's really red. Let's go back over here. To improve the depot, it should be hidden. For example, you could raise the terrain a bit. See how this improved the okay, hold on. We need to keep up a decoration. So this improved the ratings, but you could also place some fences or plant some trees. Or you could block the view using hedges or maybe rocks. Or you could get really involved and construct an entire custom building around the depot. There are many ways of doing this. All right. Very cool. All right. Building coasters. A good coaster will attract many new guests to our park. So let's learn how to build one. Here's the initial station piece for the junior coaster that we will build. Simply right click on the piece and start editing. We're going to go to edit. Here we go. Coaster trains stop inside the station, and the length of the station determines how long the coaster trains can be. Build. Okay, it wants me to place that. I'm going to rearrange those later. Build 4 stations so we can have a longer train. So we... Can I please... Edit. There we are. 4. All right, since the coaster gains speed due to gravity, we need to bring it up a hill first. Enable the lift hill option and build up 5 slopes. So we're going to come over here, and it tells you which all you want to, what they want you to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we go to a flat point. Now we can disable the lift hill so that the train can move freely, and it's time for the first drop. And it will automatically adjust it so that you don't have to undo the chain. It'll just automatically do that. Build a downward 4 slopes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go back to a flat section. Flat part again. The train has already picked up some speed at this point, so a quick transition might feel a bit rough. We can increase the length of track segments and use this to create a smoother transition by using the segment size. Set the segment size to 2 and build a transition back to flat segments. So we'll do that, and 2. Going straight all the time is a bit boring. Let's build a curve. Flat curves at high speeds can also feel quite uncomfortable, so you might want to bank the track a bit using the banking wheel. So we're going to go over here, and we can bank, yeah, like that. Now we'll bank about, hold on, yeah, about like that. And let's build another curve. By the way, there are some helpful visualization modes that you might want to check out. They help with figuring out which parts of the ride feel fun or uncomfortable. Lateral G-forces press passengers to the sides of the car and are usually not very fun. They can be turned into vertical G-forces by banking the track, which presses the passengers into or out of the seat and are much more tolerable. Longitudinal G-forces are generated when accelerating or decelerating the train. Driving over hills with some speed pushes the passengers out of their seat. This is called airtime. It's pretty fun. Set the segment to size 3 and build an upward slope. The train loses speed over time. It is usually a good idea to make your hills a bit smaller than the previous one. Otherwise, the train might not make it. Surely you've noticed that there are a few different steep slope options available. You can mix these pretty much how you want. Set the slope to size 2 and build a shallow slope. Let's start thinking about bringing the track back to the station. This will be a fairly short coaster, but it's only the tutorial after all. It's usually a good idea to first bring the track back to the same height as the station, as this will make lining up everything much easier in the end. If you check the end of the station, there's a small marker there saying 3. To properly connect, we need to bring the track back to this height. This can seem a bit tricky sometimes, especially when you're just barely off like we are now. But by using the shallow slope and playing around with the segment size a bit, it's always possible to get it back to the right height. Set the segment size to 2 and build a flat segment. Set the segment size to 5. To 5. And build a flat segment. Train is still quite fast, but we need to make a few more turns to get back on the station. We could build some bank curves again, but since we don't need that much speed anymore, we can also brake the train and drive around the curve slowly. The longer a brake segment is, the more smoothly it will slow down the train. Set the segment size to 3 and build a brake. Notice that you can also change the brake speed at the bottom right of the track builder window when you have the brake option. So like right here, we've got that's where we can set the option there. Yeah, let's build that. We're gonna go down to 2. We're gonna do a curve. Build. Set it down to 1. And build a curve. Whoops, we are misaligned by a tile. We could go back a step and increase the size of the curve, but sometimes this is not possible. Another option is to build the S-bin, which you can find on the right side of the track menu. So you have this one that goes to the left and this one that goes to the right. Build the S-bin to finish the track. Great. This is a fairly short and simple coaster, but now you know everything you need to know to tackle to make it more complex. All right, we're going to quit that. I didn't get to set the thing, but that's okay. If we go back in there, can we, does that restart or? It might restart it. It did restart it. Okay. All right. So that was that one. And we will continue with Maple Meadows. Maple Meadows. Thank you for watching. Have an utterly fantastic day and see you next time.